Hi guys, and welcome to my part 3 video for creatives called Conceptualizing and Actualizing Your Videos.
Isn't lavender the best for everything?
If you've been to my channel, you've probably seen my part 2 video, Planning Pre-Production Packages. In this video, I talked about step 1 in video creating, which is planning a pre-production package. So step 1 is how you start by determining your vision. Does it resonate with a certain group? Or is it something that you want to try that's new or original or resonates with people like you? Can you find a specific video clip or even an image that resonates with an audience or at least people like you? Save it, because you know what? You can use it to plan out your video in a storyboard, which will then be able to be replaced, each of the things that are in that video, and made totally 100% original. Please remember, this tip that I'm giving is just a lesson for you to learn how to build a template. It is not that you screen grab or publish or even share any video or image or any other media or product that is not yours or your copyright to use. Because in fact, if you are original, you will know it because each of the files that you download from online will say it somewhere. And that's how you keep every single screenshot of the licensing information that you either purchased online, or if it's from a royalty-free account, you still screen grab that account and make sure that you keep receipts of everything that you are using in your videos, because this will help you in case you ever need to look back at it. So in step 1.1, you're thinking about your vision. What's the color scheme? What is the style that you want to use? Where and what do you want to record? Do you have specific B-roll that you need to look for? In case you have anything like that, maybe you need to look up different options for royalty-free, or you can even download your own licensed video to a song or a video that you want to use inside of your own commercially used video. In my previous video, I also talked about how you can use font, text, templates, things like that that will also spruce up your video. These are the things that you want to start downloading now before you start making your storyboard video template inside of Premiere Pro. If you do it inside of Premiere Pro, it'll make it a lot easier for you once you start replacing things with original content, and it'll look a lot better if you already have your vision done fast in Premiere Pro. In conceptualizing your video, you actually want to start by making this draft storyboard template in Premiere Pro with rough audio placement, or text placement, or voiceover placement. You have to consider what is original and what is not original before you decide on sharing this video with anyone. But if it's for your own use, make sure that you replace everything in the video with something original. For now, you can export this with the audio so that you will be able to use the music in the background to sync any action described by images or video placed inside of this template with your own original content that you capture with a camera of your own. After you have this whole template made and you have rendered it for your own reference, you can decide to either shoot with a camera that is plugged into audio, shoot with a camera that is plugged into a laptop, or shoot with a microphone that is also plugged into a laptop. You could do these all at the same exact time, interchangeably, however you would like to. Or you could just use the simple setup, which is a camera and a camera's audio, so you don't have to think twice about your audio being synced. Step 1.1 and 1.2 go together, because when you decide what type of B-roll goes around the videos that you're shooting, It's really important to have both of those interchange perfectly together if you can, because you don't want to have video that doesn't work with a green screen. It doesn't match. So you have to look for stock videos that do. So for step 1.2, you have to consider lighting, like I said in my pre-production planning video, part 2 of How to for Creatives. You can consider using green screen, shooting video and audio on multiple tries for variety in case you have a voiceover or blog as well. But make sure that you keep all video and audio shots down to 1 minute, because 3 minutes could very easily add up to 1 whole gigabyte, and that could take up a lot of data if you're just recording aimlessly and not knowing what you want to record. Always have a plan and a template ready for your visual and audio before you start to record. Step 2 of your video plan is to create an ecosystem for all of your files, where you're going to save them and how you're going to title them, because you want to be able to find all of them and each version of them whenever you please to go back to them. So you want to start by saving the files into File Explorer. Whatever you're going to use, your B-roll and your videos that you shot, you want to categorize them now in File Explorer, so that when you go into Premiere Pro and title it the same as you titled that main folder in File Explorer, and then you can drag all your folders into Premiere Pro and create a sequence. And this sequence will be where you drag all of your videos into your video. So this is done basically interchangeably as well as step 1.1 and step 1.2. You want to start with this step when you're doing step 1.1 and step 1.2. It's only step 2 because it's important too. Before you drag your clips into your Premiere Pro sequence, you can consider if you want to shorten any of them. Are any of them above the gigabytes, like I said earlier, that you don't want to have? Keep them down to a minimum of 1 gigabyte. If you want, you can clip them and shorten them inside of any simple video editing app. You can even do it in Premiere Pro if you want it. And like I said earlier, step 2 is where it all starts. So if you are doing step 1.1 and step 1.2, keep in mind that those can be done all the way through step 2 down to the last, because if you're recording your videos and you're adding them to make your video original, the steps that follow step 1.2 are going to be the same if you're doing your storyboard template or your final draft. Once you have all your files in and you're sure that these are the ones you're going to use pertaining to step 1.2, where you shot the videos, you want to be able to determine, do I have enough storage space on my laptop? You can right click and go to File Properties of your drive inside of your laptop to make sure if you have at least 300 gigabytes left to work on your project. If you're not sure or you don't think you have enough space, just disregard this next step, which is part of 2, creating proxies. You can use a lower resolution for now, and you can set Premiere Pro to download all of the files that you downloaded to your project to be in QuickTime low resolution. And this will then allow you to encode the files, toggle on proxies, and basically gives you more space to edit your video freely whenever you need to render it and view playback smoother. You've created a sequence, like I said, check, done. Now you can drag a few video clips in and change the sequence settings first thing. This will allow you to make sure that the sequence settings of your video are matching the exact settings of your camera. So make sure you hit change. After you get all your B-roll in, or your backgrounds and overlays, anything that is above the video to show an effect or a filter to make your video look more uniform throughout, anything like that is an overlay. If you have backgrounds that you need, make sure that you put them exactly where you want them, because if you're going to do a certain action on the screen and you want it to work with that video, make sure you put that where you want it. And any of your studio videos that you've shot, if they're one like this one where you don't need a green screen removal, great. Just make sure they're placed where you want throughout. And this step goes for both your shoot and for your template. If you have an idea of what your video is going to look like, or if you are starting a voiceover or a vlog, you want to work on your audio first. So you have an idea of what you want your music video to act out in every part, or your vlog to act out in every part, or any other media such as that. Now you can decide to edit your audio until you get it just right. You can definitely start with that if you choose, but I find the visual is way more important. So if you have audio like a voiceover, definitely do that first. But if it's a music video, you can always put the audio in as a rough draft. You don't even have to edit it while you're doing this first step. Once you're done with this first step, make sure that you adjust the levels of your audio. Make sure it's trimmed how you want it. Do you want it to end earlier in a certain place or come back in a certain place? And how do you want it to fade out according to that structure? Get it to look good enough to where it flows with your visuals. And if there's music or video that needs to be timed right, make sure ahead of time that your visual recording had the same exact music playing in the background, loud enough so that you can synchronize the audio and save editing time later on. Fix all of your audio levels and make sure you get them as good as you can for now. In adding your visual clips, you can think about an option called multicam. This could help you pick cuts faster. Or you can synchronize your own organized cuts to the beat, and this could also help you start off in syncing your video to the audio that you chose by using beat markers. Or you could do it all by yourself and decide for yourself that I want to do all of this manually, because that will also add a certain versatility if you do not know how to do the other steps otherwise, or if you're actually better working that way otherwise. A tip to remember in making your video is to keep a main video theme throughout. What are the themes of your secondary videos? What are the themes of your main videos? Do they go together, or do they create a discord which makes you feel kind of uneasy? Just do whatever your theme for the video is. What emotion are you trying to hit when you show your video to someone? How do you want it to hit them? Have fun with the beat and trim your videos for easy viewing and smooth playback. Keep in mind that you can mark any clips that you plan to come back to by using basically like beat markers, but you could write notes and also color categorize. In the midst of it all, keep reorganizing and fixing timing and content choices of your visuals, voiceovers, and audio. Are the levels, fading, and cuts still going with each other? Are they flowing? Did you pick shots that catch your attention and drive the point home? Tip: the longer the cuts and the less cuts you have, the more easy your video will be to edit and flow. Getting rid of clips that don't work for you and replacing it with any other kind of video or audio that works will create a positive impact on your video. And anything you're not sure of, just enable or disable it, I always say, because it removes and hides it from the view as if it's gone. And if you want to bring it back later, it'll still be there. The next step would be, if you have all your B-roll all your overlays, all of everything that you want in your video already laid out, and you have no other steps yet for those things, the only other one I can consider would be to remove green screen and add the backgrounds that you think work the best if you haven't already. And then after the green screen, make sure that you overlay any videos that you want as effects. These could be opacity reduced B-roll, filters, text, ads, designs, graphics, such as album covers, introductions, titles, logos, call to action, reminders, credits, and special thanks. And don't forget, if you have no room in your sequence, you can always track select forward and move it for an introduction or closing that you wanted. Then, if you haven't yet already, import your files that you've downloaded for adding effects, adding transitions. These could be things such as zooms, rotations, position changes, speed changes, fades, and so on. Now, if you've already placed all your overlays and your text and things like that, in order to make your text more visible on bright backgrounds, you can do special color correcting now to fix that for your text. This will allow you to work with the rest of your videos that have no text over it and really blend the color correction and the color grading and the opacity levels of everything so that you get everything to look equally uniform across, or at least the best it can be across, whatever that means to you. Now that you've done your color correcting, which is the last step, you want to consider maybe, are there special touch-ups that you need to make? Do you still have clips that you need to organize? Do you still have some videos that don't look clear or something like that? Are some of them shaky and you didn't like the shake, but it's the only video you really have? Do you need to re-record anything? You can also consider things, instead of having to totally re-record a shot, sharpening effects are available on Premiere Pro and other websites. Warp stabilizers usually work. I find it looks good sometimes after rendering, and it depends on which setting that you use, and so on. Things like that could definitely help touch up your video and give it that extra oomph. Don't be afraid to give it that extra oomph because you deserve it. You deserve to see through your vision. A tip to keep in mind to keep you from getting so stressed out with the video lag is all throughout editing, you could sequence render any little parts that turn red or orange. Yellow means it's fine for playback, but usually orange and red need render just to be able to see what you've completed thus far. The colors above your timeline, they basically show you what you've worked on. So as you render your whole timeline, as you go on, each step that you go through, if it's green, it means that you rendered it and nothing was changed. But if it changes color, that means that you've definitely edited something there at that part. And if it's red, that means that part is really, really tough to render. And in case you ever fall back and you don't know just where you are in your video and what step you've just done, you could always go to history and see a list there of what you've already done thus far. And I'll go through all of these tips that I'm giving you right now in a little bit shorter video clips. And whenever I start publishing those, you'll be able to see each of those tips described. Then before you export and finalize your video, you can always delete any render files you have been using on the project, or you could re-render them on full resolution for smooth playback when you render and export. Watch that yellow and red spots do not stay in your render. Either shift the clips around until they work and re-render, or find a clip that actually does work there if it does not. Premiere Pro doesn't always agree with some clips, but sometimes it's a simple render that will take that small section out and make it become green faster. So you're going to want to select in to out, which is with the I and O buttons on your keyboard, wherever your timeline marker is on the timeline. And you'll want to do this at the very start of your video, wherever either the black is if you would like to fade in from black, or wherever the first cut is, exactly where the first video pops up. And the same goes for fading or the cutting at the end of your video. I, O, in to out. This part stays saved if you exit the project now, after saving. The next part, it won't stay saved unless you learn how to save your metadata. So, do your research. Copyright is no joke. Keep a copyright document for every single thing that you publish, because if you think of it, this is your media and you're going to need to present information eventually, whether it's as a taxpayer or just as an individual who is posting and publishing media online. Here are some things that you could record. Some things like the specific date are self-explanatory and can be left out, so long as your product or media publishing does not require this archived information. But it's best to be on the safe side and save as many things as you can to categorize your publishing. So, after you have all your metadata in your copyright document, all you have to do is add the metadata in your video inside of the Export tab. Any copyright information should be filled out in both the export and after exporting into the file when you right-click and go to Properties. Make sure you have full rights to your content. After embedding the metadata in your video and after you export your video, you check to see, did my export look and turn out well? Or is there something missing that I need to add, or that it didn't render very well? Then you have to go back and make sure that your saved metadata is added again to the export, and you repeat the process until you get the export you want for your final video with the metadata attached. And after exporting in the file, right-click and go to Properties and add the metadata there too. Make sure that you render your video on the highest quality settings that is for the place you're posting it to. The in-to-out source can also help you if you have videos trailing at the end of your actual video. You can save little things like call to actions that you recorded previously and export them separately using the in-to-out keys. Then, once you have both of your videos ready, your main video and your promotional video, you can go into the very last and very sacred step, posting.
It don't take that much. No, it don't take that much. 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 No, it don't take that much. 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 No, it don't take that much. And I'm trying to be the person that you can always love. And I'm trying to be the person that you can always love. Trying to be the